don't want to be a ref, but we do have one of the top referees in the province, Neil Bosman, who's going to be calling it from the middle. And both these sides coming into this game with mixed fortunes. Yep, Khassi's lost to Oakdale as we are underway. A deep kick into the 22. Oh, just charge down here. And that's already pressure being put on by Paarl Boys high, and that's a huge pressure that was put on there. Derek Kuhn was just trying to clear his lines there and just met some of the Paarl Boys forwards that were charging down on him. And this gives an early opportunity for Paarl Boys with a scrum almost 7 meters away from Khassi's try line.
Yeah, the exit's so important, and immediately Paarl Boys gets a chance on attack, and Garsfontein, that's the worst start that they could have hoped for.
Yeah, worst scenario case for them. As Keegan Smith is going to look to put it in here for Paarl Boys. Referee just asking them to reset. And it's just an area that is always difficult to maneuver around the front rowers, because they've got that 1.5 meter that they can push in either direction. So the referee likes to be stable first to be able to, obviously count his meters. But Neil Bosman, who's very bilingual, he can speak quite a lot of languages, is going to handle that to the tee. Smith dishes it in. Plays there to center, and just a little loop around it. He's gone straight through. Oh, early start here for Paarl Boys, and they did not waste time as Ashwin Swartz just sliced straight through the middle there. That was just a smart piece of play by the back line of Paarl Boys, and this is a great start by them. Look at that smile from the coaches saying, yeah, I told you it would work. There's nothing better than a coach introducing a move, and it's strike play, comes off right from the get-go, and this is an excellent start by Paarl Boys.
Yeah, solid scrum by Paarl Boys, just a little bit, and you see Swartz there cutting straight through. I think it was meant to a little delayed pass to set him up, and he goes over under the post. And the 7-point is on the board. Paarl Boys are the best possible start, and for Garsfontein, not the very best of start.
Yeah.
Did he miss the kick?
No, he got it over, so we're sitting at 7 points to 0. Just 2 minutes underway. Long kick there by Con as they break a tackle once again. Just good momentum and urgency being played here by Paarl Boys. Yeah, that's a good contest there by Luan van Berg. He just came almost at the right angle to be able to compete there. And it was very important that Kas Fontaine had to hit back, after them perhaps just being unlucky and losing to Oakdale 23 points to 17. It's important that they hit back immediately now that Paarl Boys have on the board already with 7 points, and a good nice clearance into the corner, almost 5 meters away from Paarl Boys' try line. And Justin Bloom will do well to find his target here. He's got Shark Swartz in that number 5 jersey for him as he looks to play back ball, and the maul is being called by the referee. They're just encroaching both back lines, and now it's going forward. That allows for both back lines to come up. Referee signals that it's once, but this is good momentum here by Garsfontein as they just carry it forward. Is there a try? Referee says it's just a bit short. Brooklyn Newman picks up from the base and plays it short there to his captain, Olivier. And just a misguided pass, but a lot of times that tends to lead to tries as they've just been tackled away from that try line. Newman plays us forwards once again. Good carry up there by Ethan van Wyk. Skip pass, and they continue playing these pods from the forwards around the corner. Newman now tries to distribute, and well-timed tackle, and that's going to put pressure. Garsfontein are going to do well to recycle their ball here. Newman just attacks a blind with Ethan van Wyk again. The referee is playing it offside. Yeah, just a tackle height there. But good sustained pressure here being put on by Kas Fontaine. It's going to be interesting to see what type of decision they're going to call here. Are they going to go for poles, or are they going to look to try and get a driving maul going? Yeah, it's definitely going to be poles.
Nice and structured attack. They set up the maul from the line out. They went through 3 or 4 phases until Paarl Boys made the mistake and gives him quite an easy kick. They go away from their previous method. After the penalty, they're going for poles, but I think it's important that they get some points on the board after that quite rather poor start they had, and you know, you get your 3 points here. The score, the deficit or the difference comes down to 4 points again, and I think it just gives them a better feel, gets them into the game, so to speak.
Now Derek Kuhn with his first kick to poles. And it's a nice strike, and that's a good steady strike there by Kuhn. And Kas Fontaine are 3 points on the board, and just trailed by 4 points. And that was important that they just do get some points on the board. Like you mentioned, Neil, that I think just building up scoreboard pressure is always important, because you've got to try hang around, especially if you are already 7 points down from after 2 minutes. As we approach the 7-minute mark, deep kick there by Mentor. Kuhn this time decides not to kick and distributes, in a bit of hesitation here, but still managed to just clear their lines. It's a better exit than the first one from the kickoff, but still gives a positive attacking opportunity here for Paarl Boys.
Yeah, Junaid Pasensi eventually gets the ball away there. Kennedy, as you said, exit is so important. It's not the best one, but it's better than before.
10 meter.
Positioning in rugby, where you play, what side of which quarter of the field is so important.
Tommy Miller with a miscue right to the back. The ball hit the referee there, and he does have to bring it back to restart it, because a deflect in any way, you reset from a scrum. And there he is, just acknowledging that the ball did hit his foot. And it's going to be an interesting second scrum. We saw the first one, that was a bit shaky from both sides. But here,
Crouch.
Paarl Boys through Keegan Smith is going to put in the ball. The attacking shape of the backline here just finds Aiden Jacobs just hovering around behind his fly-off there. All indications that he could be threading through one of the seams between the 12 and 13, or the 14, 12 gap for Kas Fontaine's defense. Of course, they've got Luan Olivier, who's donning that 12 jersey, who performed outstandingly well last year in the number 6 jersey for Kas Fontaine, has moved into the midfield. Scored a try on the game against Oakdale in the short arm. Again, we spoke about the referee being very diligent and very, attentive in terms of how the front rowers behave when the engagement call is being given.
Very interesting call. It's called, are we calling that the Damien Willemse move now? Because they're calling for a scrum again. I can never play a bit in the forwards myself. I don't understand that. It makes no sense. Because what can happen here is the referee can penalize you. You take the ball up, kick it up and under, pick and go, whatever. There's just so many variables around the scrum just to take a scrum again after you won that advantage.
Yeah, a lot of sides perhaps opt, if it's a short arm, to perhaps put the up and under, let the ball land into your opposition second half. But Brooklyn Newman puts in the ball and finds Luan Olivier with the backdoor pass. Oh, good distribution to Etzelen, who was Kas Fontaine's top try scorer last year, playing at fullback, and that has just wandered into touch there. Yeah, not the ideal strike play. You wouldn't want to run into touch, especially from a strike play move. You'd rather try keep in touch, recycle the ball, and then try get your forwards running into a bit of space from there.
Yeah, interesting move from the scrum. They attacked, they didn't try and box kick or take it up. Yeah, very interesting tactics there by Kas Fontaine at the minute.
another overthrow there from Tom Miller. As this allows Garsfontein to get an opportunity to just distribute. And there's a little thread through by Khan. The referee has called them back for a penalty. And the offside lines have been really contentious in terms of the referee. That's an area that they look at first before anything else. So it's just important that you know, your defensive team takes an extra stride back just to try and make sure that you're showing the picture that you've gone back. As Derek Kuhn kicks a beautiful kick into the corner.
Interesting, Kennedy. Every year you get the feeling that the referees, they discuss something. We're going to look at that this year. And it looks like at all these games, the offside lines are policed so heavily. I mean, yeah, so, but Garsfontein on the attack again.
Justin Bloom with the throw in here. As they go again for that back ball. And it's been successful. Ball finds its way to Justin Bloom at the base of that driving maul, and they're doing well just to keep patience. Paarl Boys are in a bit of trouble here as they go forward. This is looking really good here for Garsfontein. They're quite close. It's going to be a try. Yes, it is. Justin Bloom scores that try for the home side. As we say, home side, the Pretoria-based team, Garsfontein, have got onto the scoreboard. They take the lead here by 1 point to a try from Justin Bloom.
Yeah, they threw the ball to the back, and that's always a better option, you know, but there's risk that goes with that. But when your number 7 or your number 8 gets the line out, it's often there's more momentum, and from the get-go it moves. See, they're close to the try line, they're well set. They're well set. They've got the man in the middle who's running the show, and there they go through the middle, and that is a classic forward try.
Yeah, forwards coach for Garsfontein will be very ecstatic with that, because that's the second time they've got a decent driving maul that has given Derek Kuhn a second opportunity here to perhaps just add the extra 2. He just slices it and gets it to the left-hand side of the pole. But nevertheless, they are leading by 1 point here as we approach the 13-minute mark. Yeah, some interesting thoughts for Boys High. They've got to go back. They just haven't been in this game. It almost feels like that they capitalize from, you know, the unwavering ways of Garsfontein not being able to clear from that first kickoff, and ever since then Garsfontein has sort of had the momentum as a Brooklyn Newman is at the base, plays his fly off. Oh, just a nice little thread through there by Pasima, and there's a turnover that Paarl Boys could have capitalized, but unfortunately just lost forward there by Fransman. Tristan Fransman just looking to try offload to his winger, but couldn't get the timing right and almost just threw that ball into touch.
Yeah, interesting once again. Garsfontein looking a little bit confused on what they want to do. I'm not sure if they want to run it out or they want to kick it out. And in the end, he grabbed it out, which nearly gave Paarl Boys a chance to attack right back after that try.
I'm sure the coaches are saying that's not what we practiced, is it? Again, a penalty given by the referee. And we've spoken about the scrums not being stable in terms of just keeping your bind and supporting your own body weight. And that's a penalty that's gone against Garsfontein here.
Johan van der Merwe with a tight head prop on the boys' eye side, not at all, not happy, remonstrating with the touch judge, who obviously gave the call to the referee. I'm not sure if you're going to see it again, but he would have gone to ground, and that's not the first time. He wasn't penalized in the earlier scrums, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Tommy Miller had 2 overthrows, and there is the third one that has allowed perhaps Garsfontein to get some clearance here. Newman with the left footer, and that's a good hanging kick. It's going to be regained in here by Aiden Jacobs, and he was able to just regain the ball. There was Keegan Smith. Jacobs takes the scrum off and plays The lock pairing, nice interplay between the two locks there. Small to Joubert. And the blind side is open, and that's a good pass here. Finding his number 12 center. Fransman gets tackled straight into touch.
Lower.
He was obviously looking where Agent Jacobs was. His wing up, he couldn't find him and decided to just take the ball, but that was good defense there by Kas Fontaine. But the tackle height was again an issue for the referee. And that's something, Neil, that has been discussed at this tournament, obviously, is that tackle height. And, you know, a lot of the players, it's important that the coaches try practice that tackle height at practice.
Paarl Boys have got to get the line out right here.
Yeah, sneaky little offload there from Joubert to Small. As the Paarl Boys are on the graph here. Oh, he's through. It was a quick play that was taken there by Paarl Boys. It wasn't really structured, but Mentor was able to just slip through that half gap there and dot down for his first score. And I'm not sure Kas Fontaine will be very happy with their defense. That was a rather soft try because that was straight from the first phase. And they just looped around, and Vian Mentor was able to just get through the gap there.
You'll often find when the ball hits the ground and it hits the grass, it pulls the defensive lines out of line, and I think that's what happened there. But Mentor really did well. I mean, when he got his chance, your better players, they spot something a little bit earlier, and he just, you know, he stepped a little bit of a left-right step there. We're going to see it right now again as they drive it up. Out from the scrum off to Mentor, a little bit of a show and go, and he goes straight for the line, and he's over for another 5-pointer.
Passini, yeah, Passini, the center, just almost drifted in front of his, you know, fellow center Olivier, and that's just opened that little chink that Mentor was able to go through. Derek Khan with a long kick to restart this game.
Stop!
That's a good clearance there by Francois van der Merwe, who's in the 15th jersey for Paarl Boys. Good connection. And, just made it just past the 22. This gives an opportunity for Kas Fontaine.
Good exit there by Boisai, but Kas Fontaine is back in the Boisai territory. Their turn to turn it up and maybe take some points from it.
Play banner. Over. More.
Yeah, good line out, and that's the go-to move as you may have picked it up, and that's the third time they've gone to this line out. And Justin Bloom is at the back of that truck, and he's just steering it in good formation. Sort of collapsed, and he's a bit isolated there. That could be a turnover. Referee allows them to play as Derek Cook just tries to thread it through. He was playing advantage.
From the side, number 2.
But the referee just saying that he's coming from the side was Tommy Miller.
Interesting. What are they going to do now? Are they playing numbers, Kennedy? You know, the last time they got the rolling ball, before that they wait for the penalty. I agree with that. I think they must go all out attack. They've got good momentum here at the moment. They are probably the underdogs in this game against Paarl Boys. And if they could set up another score, their maul looked very effective earlier. And if they could score now again, it'll put them in a good position.
Miller with the throw-in, and they've gone to that middle jumper.
Maul!
And the maul is called. Yeah, as the ball finds its way back to Justin Bloom. And again, this driving maul is on its way, and it's being driven, and they just need to keep patience. It's another try. Yes, it is. Oh, beautiful try. And Justin Bloom grabs his second try. Kas Fontaine are not lying down. It's almost a punch for punch here. If Paarl Boys score a try, we go back and score another, says Kas Fontaine. And through the powerful hookup, Justin Bloom, who's carried and steered that driving maul, threading through, and there is the dot down. Good try here by Kas Fontaine.
Good try indeed. I mean, from the line out, think there's a bit of a difference between these two sides. I think Garsfontein has won all their lineouts, where Paarl Boys they've lost 3 or 4, although the last one was also a throw that was missed, but they still managed to win it back and score the tries from there. But right now, your first phase, Paarl Boys' first phase is a bit of a problem. If I remember correctly, their last scrum was also a penalty. And yeah, Garsfontein is looking very comfortable here at the moment.
Oh, it's a better kick there by Derek Koen as he puts Garsfontein into the lead here as we approach the 21st minute mark of this game. Both sides are going back and forth here, and there's only 1 point in it, and that belongs to the Pretoria base side, Garsfontein, through Justin Bloom's try, and the added points there from Derek Koen as Mentor kicks through the middle. It looked like
Tackle!
Insolent
Backwards!
gets his hand in the ball, and the ball just spat out of that ruck. Always a query or question how that ball came through to the other side of Paarl Boys, but they won't worry about that as they take it up through their powerful forward, De Toy. With the drift pass, Mentor gives it out wide. Oh, sleek little grubber through. Brooklyn Newman covers here, and with that left footer, clears extremely well, and that's good cover. Exemplary play there by the number 9 from Garsfontein, always just covering for any delicate kicks that are put through Brooklyn Newman.
I think Paarl Boys has made a change at hooker. Not sure if that is related to the line-out issues, but they've brought on, is it Ethan van Wyk? No, it's Aiden Holzhausen is on at hooker, and immediately Paarl Boys wins the line-out.
Mentor, slipped through the middle, and Jacob has gone right through the middle, brought down by Luan Olivier, and that's a penalty. Referee says you've got to let go of the ball. He did well to steal that ball, but slick play once again, and Aiden Jacobs just sliced through the little chink of the armor that was presented to him. And Luan Olivier for Garsfontein was able to just get back for that tackle, and referee says that he came in from the side. Interesting call there. They could have gone for poles to put themselves in the lead, but I think they're backing a new line-out thrower, and he's going to be put straight to the test, and that's a better ball, although it is a front ball, and that's well set here by Paarl Boys. Are they going to reply here, because they've got the ball set right at the back there?
Advantage.
An advantage for coming from the side, but they are continuing. It is being driven well.
Sideways once.
Starting to go to the side. The referee says...
lifting legs, yeah, lifting legs.
Yeah, you can hear him there just saying lifting legs. And it's always an area where you
Lifting
feel
legs.
that you want to lift the leg if you're defending, but you know, it's almost unnatural. It's a rugby
Lifting legs.
It's
grip.
Lifting legs.
It's like you can't help yourself.
Lifting legs.
But I think we've seen so many more tries since Thursday. It's probably the right option for Paarl Boys, and the last 2 lineouts they got it back. They're winning good ball now.
Yeah, Christian Grunding, who's come on to that hooker berth, has done well. And the ball just finds its way to the blind side, and there's a try. Paarl Boys have scored yet another try as a right of reply, as they say. Just after Garsfontein had taken the lead, they've gone back into the lead, and it's through Johan van der Merwe, who just crossed over the line in the blind side there. That's just a 1-2 play. And they've hit up in the middle and went to the blind. This giving Mentor an opportunity to score at a tough angle, right on the touchline. And there's a little bit of wind that's playing its part. I'm not quite sure which way it's swirling, but he would do well just to strike that sweet spot. And it's quite important that Paarl Boys strike back and score a try, because you just felt that Garsfontein was starting to get a bit of momentum here. Mentor with the strike. Oh, good kick, and finds that extra 2 points. And there's been some good kicking throughout the day today, and that hasn't wavered since Mentor has come on. And Derek Kuhn continuing the striking as we look at the replay.
That's right there after that good line out. Just take it out to the prop. Johan van der Merwe goes over in the corner.
A deep kick from the restart, and good clearance again from Francois van der Merwe. And he's shown that he's got a good educated boot. As we see there, the far picture there, the coaches for Paarl Boys. And they'll be wary after watching what is the game that was just before this. Of course, JP High for boys beating Grey College in what was quite the game. Justin Bloom looking for that middle ball. It's well taken. Maul is called. And this has been a real strength of theirs. It has for Kas Fontaine as they make their way over that 10-meter mark. Brooklyn Newman just making sure he's close enough if he has to play that ball. As they continue, there's the call from the referee. As Bloom just breaks away, but with a knock on, and there could be transition play here. Short ball being played. Yeah,
I didn't have a clear view there.
Yeah, it wasn't a clear view. There was a call for an early tackle on Tristan Hubert, but the referee says he couldn't see it quite clearly, so he brings it back for a scrum. Not a great outcome that they would have wanted for Kas Fontaine from that driving maul.
Yeah, it was a good set by Paarl Boys on the fence there. They kept on setting in a little triangle behind the ball, which slowed them down, and then they won the ball back. My view was good. I thought there was a bit of an early tackle there, but Kas Fontaine probably a bit lucky to get away with it. But as you said, he didn't have a clear view, so you have to back the ball.
Yeah. Keegan Smith about to put it in.
Stability.
So we're approaching the 28th minute of this game. And again, the scrum not steady. The referee gives a short arm to Paarl Boys. Will they look to re-engage in the scrum again? And they are going to. And that is the substitute that has come on at hookup for Paarl Boys. Christian Granding.
Let's go.
Yeah, there. Near Bosman just talking to front rowers from Kas Fontaine, Van Dijk and Van Berg. Just saying to them they need to get it up.
Crouch. Point. Seat. Stability. Stay up.
Yeah, stability key. As the ball has been put in there by Paarl Boys, a little pressure, and it's resulted in a penalty. After having a word with the front rowers from Kas Fontaine, they kept their stability, and it's resulted in a penalty here.
You're leaving the contest.
I'd like to see the replay of that, because to me, the loose head prop from Kas Fontaine, Ethan van Wyk, went inside, pushed upwards. I reckon he had to be penalised, but that's my view from up top here. Yeah. So let's see if there's a replay. It didn't look right.
Yeah, well, the referee says that Paarl Boys were leaving the contest, which meant that De Toy and Van der Merwe just needed to stay in the context, and that was his call, as Justin Bloom is going to have another opportunity to go to their favoured winning line, but that's the first overthrow, and the referee says play on. It was a straight throw, as these forwards are going to have to just set a pod as Brooklyn Newman plays this fly off, and a good defensive pressure there being put on by Paarl Boys.
Lost.
As Kas Fontaine recycles the ball.
Advantage, tackle height.
Strong carry up play, and the referee playing advantage for the tackle height.
Again, tackle height.
Yeah, it's an area that the referee said they would also focus.
Just a moment.
There is the head coach for Kas Fontaine.
Dit
Mr.
moet werk
Du Plessis just saying that
2007.
let's look perhaps for the poles.
Yes, the scrum, as you can see, he's pushing up, he's pushing inwards as well, standing
Sê
up.
vinnig, sê vinnig.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think
Lekker light, alle.
those burly odds and of scrumming have always puzzled a lot of backline players. Not quite sure what happens there. They're just probably saying, just win us the ball. But there is an art to scrumming. And I suppose we also got to look at the safety of those front rowers. So it's important that all protocols are adhered to. As Derek Kuhn has got an opportunity here just to get 3 points on the board as we lead up to 32 minutes into this game. It's a fairly good angle for him. He's struck the ball very well so far in this game. Will he add the extra 3? It's never in doubt, and that's Derek Kuhn adds 3 points onto that scoreboard, and Garsfontein has got 18 points, still trailing to Paarl Boys, who have 21 points. And, yeah, just looking at the body language of some of the Paarl Boys, and they had a strong tussle against JP that was successful today, beating that JP side 45 points to 19. And it was an excellent second half performance by them. But this still quite tight. Taken up in the air and just set up just inside that 22. Allowing for Brooklyn Newman to find Kuhn, who strikes it pretty well and finds his touch, and that's a good clearance.
Very good clearance there by Derek Kuhn. Looks to be a very accomplished fly half. He's got what they call some time to make his decisions. But this is a very evenly match at the moment, Kennedy. Both sides are mauling well. The tight phases are pretty even. And as I say that, Garsfontein steals one away in the front of the line-out.
Yes, a turnover at the line-out that has given transition play for Garsfontein as they're setting it up through their forwards. Luan Olafir carries it up there. Newman
Taken back.
finds Kuhn, and a long skim pass there. And this ball is almost in and out, and the referee says it was backwards off blue. But good contesting at the ruck there. There's a bit of chat back to the referee, and
Number 9.
referee advances it, and he says that Keegan Smith was talking back, and
Number 9.
Neil Bosman, the referee, won't be having any of that. An experienced referee who has done a bit of varsity cup rugby,
First arriver holding on.
club rugby around this Pretoria region, and has done a lot of school games. And you don't want to be talking back to him, as that's resulted in 10 meters extra, and now that finds Garsfontein within Paarl Boys 22. With another set line out here. Justin Blom
Sideways once.
into a familiar position, and this looks like deja vu, as they would say. But Paarl Boys have defended it well. The referee says use it.
Now.
There could be a turnover. Yes, there is.
I've told you to use
listen
it.
to the referee.
I've told you to
warned
use
them
it.
twice.
Kennedy, I like that. Because often your referees, they warn them, and then the guys start again. I think that's what we're looking for, some continuity. They had their chance, they went forward, they stopped, you warned them, they tried to go again, they should have played it at that moment.
Right.
Nothing better than a clear
Dank punt. Op je arm nie.
referee that has
Bietjie
got
nader,
consistency,
bietjie hoor. Alright.
and you know, he keeps on talking. I love the way he communicates with his players. It's always a sign of a good referee.
Point.
There's almost just
Seat.
a
Stability.
minute left in this game. The feed goes in for Paarl Boys, again under pressure. That scrum, again, not staying in the contest.
Popping out of the contest. Do.
I'd like to see that again.
You're leading the
To me,
contest,
this time
sir.
it looked better from, first up live. It looked like he went forward, and then the Paarl Boys are Luan, Johan van der Merwe just bailed out there. To me, that looked like a better option. Let's see as the lucid goes. Goes slightly inside again. He stands up.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Yeah, they are leaving the contest. Otherwise, if they do stay in there, that scrum is going backwards. And that has given an excellent opportunity here just before half-time for Justin Bloom and his teammates to perhaps set up another driving ball. Could he score a hat-trick? As that half-time hooter goes, and Justin Bloom is in there, but this is good defense from Paarl Boys. He now rips off and peels off to his captain. Luan Olivier is a strong player to bring down as he advances towards the try line. A maul is called. This is going to be a turnover. Well defended by Paarl Boys. Turnover it is. And that is half-time. A lot of frustration that is going on there. Justin Bloom right in the heart of it. And he's probably upset that he couldn't score his hat-trick from that well-defended line-out. But it is half-time, and Neil Bosman has called it. And this has been a tight game between these two sides. It's been back and forth. We're back to live pictures here as the ball's just been set up around that 22 area. And a Mentor gets it in the pocket. And that's a really good strike. He's not going to find touch. Derek Kuhn, who had a great first half, was back there. And now here's the counter from Kas Fontaine as they set it up by the halfway mark. Brooklyn Newman plays as prop forward there, Ethan van Wyk, as they look to go blind. That was a pass that almost went forwards. The referee says he felt that it went backwards. As they try set it up, just being contested the breakdown, and Paarl Boys have got the turnover here. This could present a bit of danger for them. Again, Kas Fontaine also say, well, we're going to counter, but they didn't do it legally.
On that side.
There's Shaun Erasmus in picture. A great coach for Paarl Boys, has done so well in his tenure there. This is his second stint, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, having a stint at the Lions and returning back home, as they would call it. Some impressive records and great years under his tutelage for Shaun Erasmus.
Yeah, that's correct. He actually won or beat Great College 3 years in a row. I don't think many coaches can say that.
Yeah, but I know Carl Spillhouse can say it now. Well, not in a row, yeah. Once is good enough, I tell you.
Very glad for Carl.
Yeah. Great victory there. As an option there for the lineouts. Brooklyn Newman just rather kicks it on the open end side as they keep the ball in. A step there, just going over his man there. Was Ashford Swartz. Ball distributed by Mentor to his forwards as they set it up in the middle. Smith attacks the blind, and this is good hands by the loose forwards. Just playing a 1-2. Long pass.
Tackle.
Disjointed. They've just got to get connected. Mentor plays there to the back of the forwards, and here's an overlap that was created, but they just couldn't get it through. But it seems that scraps have been won here by Kas Fontaine, and there's hands in the ruck there. Newman is able to just distribute and get us forwards. Another knock on. The referee picks that one up. Just a scrappy piece of play there between both sides. As those impact players are starting to get a bit jittery because they know that time could be arriving, that they could be called on to make an impact.
Yeah, the Paarl Boys are under Shaun Erasmus are known for their very structured build-up. You know, I think he believes in, as we're looking on the ground there. Interesting call. And once again, Kas Fontaine spills it on the ground, and Boza gets to put the ball in the scrum.
Stability.
Stability that Keegan Smith will put the ball in here. And again, pressure from the front rowers that has been just switched. I'm not quite sure what has taken place there. They're saying number 1 is coming in at an angle. That's Ethan van Wyk, who was deemed to have been coming in at an angle First, the arm went towards Kas Fontaine and was switched
Kenny,
by the referee.
I'm going to guess here, but I think he made a call and then the touch judge
Yeah, possibly.
said something else, and he said that the number 1 from Garsfontein, Ethan van Wyk, was coming in from the angle, and he's been on the border with that the whole game. Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of penalties at scrum time for both these sides, but this has given Mentor an opportunity to just extend that 21-point lead to put it score to 24 points to 18. And a good steady start, and that's the ideal. You get a penalty just to calm the waters in the second half, get your 3 points on the board. And, there it is. I think you're definitely right there, Neil. The call did come from the AR on that far side. Yeah, just saying Van Wyk was going in at an angle. Well taken there by Francois van der Merwe. Was brave to take that, knowing that the forwards from Kas Fontaine were just narrowing down on him. Keegan Smith puts a high box kick, and that's a good angle. Are they going to contest and regain it? Yes, they have, but just a forward pass there. Referee's going to bring them back and with no advantage, but a good kick there by Keegan Smith. The first box kick that I've seen him placing in this match, and it's been a real testing element, and you would think that would put more of them, especially with this light that's slightly dimmer in the evenings, maybe a couple of high ones, just to test the vision of some of those back 3 players.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of breeze, and it's dropped a bit now. I think Paarl Boys have got that breeze, or whatever's left of it, in the backs. Here's another scrum. Let's see what happens now. The referee has positioned himself on the other side, on the loose side of Garsfontein.
Yeah, you just see the elbow of the Paarl Boys, but Derek Koen has put in a nice little kick through that Francois van der Merwe has now cleared his line, and he's found Kas Fontaine's fly off, who's taking the ball up, and there's advantage being played here by the referee. And again, he spoke to the players that were chasing to stay on sides, and I think there's going to be a stern talking here.
Always advancing.
Yeah, he did mention there that Ruben Damas was already advancing and was warned to go back, but did not make that adjustment. That to just give an opportunity here for Darren Koen to nudge this ball into the corner, and that deadly weapon that has been a driving maul for Kas Fontaine is back in effect again. And you can see there by Shaun Erasmus, he doesn't look too impressed, because he knows that Justin Bloom has crossed the line twice through these driving mauls. Are they going to opt for that back jumper? Yes, that's a good throw by Justin Bloom. Yeah, an early late sack, as they said. Brooklyn Newman now, we're going to see if they can play with advantage. Olivier to Derek Koen. Yeah, just trying to put that little thread kick through. They know that they had advantage from that late sack. Referee brings back for another penalty. Jacques Swartz, as they play it straight through the middle of the field. It's set up right under those poles, and advantage has come once again. Yeah, Justin Bloom carries the ball as Brooklyn Newman looks to go blind now.
New advantage.
The forwards just tracking it up, and another advantage here. Referee might start looking to his pocket, and number 8 is in trouble here.
Yeah, it's the Vessels.
Yeah, Doe Vessels is going to pay the penalty for a number of offences that Paarl Boys have conceded, and it's that offline again, offside.
Yeah, he's got to get a yellow card for the whole team. I think they gave them a team warning just after between the last 2 penalties. As you said, Vessels, unfortunately, the one who must take the brunt of it.
Tap by the forwards, and there's a grass cutter tackle that's playing another advantage here. The pick and go around the ruck here is almost high. They've managed to recycle it, and there's a try. He has crossed over the line. Kas Fontaine score a try through that big burly prop, Luan van der Berg. Much well earned and deserved here. They've tussled away, and we spoke about this whole swing in momentum. A yellow card can just start putting a bit of pressure in that defensive system, because they've had about 3 or 4 penalties that were offsides, and that's resulted in a try now that was scored there by the tight end for Kas Fontaine.
Yeah, for another 5-pointer, and this game keeps on swinging both ends. It's quite entertaining. Yeah, it's interesting when when it's penalty after penalty after penalty. It's a yellow card. The only way to really handle that from the defensive side is to make sure that they get away. Otherwise, the pressure will just build on them. They've got to get back into the Garsfontein territory very soon.
Derek Kuhn going to add the extra 2. Yes, he has. And that puts Garsfontein into the lead here.
I think it's quite important, Kennedy, here that this next exit from Garsfontein is going to be very important in the context of the game as we're going under 25 minutes to go. Garsfontein needs to set themselves. They need to exit, make sure that they catch the ball well, and then they get it out. And I see there's some replacements coming on from Paarl Boys.
Yes, Van Wyk and Peters have come on. Oh, that has to be the biggest hit of this tournament so far. Great timing and a knock-on advantage being played here. Can Paarl Boys capitalize? Good width, and there's an overlap here. Good tackle. And they'll do well to regain the ball. Smith gets the ball away. Mentor, and they're the forwards that have set it up in the middle. Just going through that 1-3-2 attacking shape with the back to a Mentor. Oh, there's ball that's on the ground. It's been hacked through, and Luan Olivier could have an opportunity to score a try here.
On your feet!
And he's going to steal that ball. The referee says no hands in the ruck. And they've done well to have discipline to let go, because Paarl Boys are still under pressure. Yeah, you've just got a counter ruck. And the referee says
you're overplaying your hand there.
Yeah, diving and sealing the ball. And that crowd has been so entertained. This game has gone back and forth. The score sitting at just 24 points to 23. Just 1 point in it. Paarl Boys leading. As Mentor just kicks it straight towards our commentary booth. Yep. He must be saying something that maybe our messages about him is not quite accurate, but
important line out now coming up for Paarl Boys. They need to secure the first phase. At the moment they're under pressure here. Garsfontein is all over them.
Granding with the throw-in. Finds his jumper, and that wasn't straight. Yeah, the local base side, Garsfontein's supporters are starting to get a bit of boisterous, and they're becoming that extra man here as that momentum is starting to swing. And an option of taking the scrum. We know that the scrums have been a real debacle all throughout this game. Penalties swinging back and forth. Yet another one. Interesting that they had the option to take the line out or the scrum. They've chosen the scrum. Let's see what happens.
It was a poor decision to go to the back of that line out. Paarl Boys needs to settle it down. Take the 2-ball, make sure you get it. Maybe put up the little box kick to get into the Garsfontein territory. I think it wasn't the best of decisions to call it to the back.
Yeah, JP Peterson, who's come on in jersey number 18. And he's, of course, has been sent out towards the backs because there is a yellow card for Paarl Boys, which means that when it comes to the scrum, it must be 7v7.
Stability.
Brooklyn Newman with the feed. Good steady scrum for Garsfontein. They've laid a beautiful platform. Derek Kuhn with a little grubber through. They've tried this tactic once or twice. There's the counter attack, and Luan Olivier snapped it up, and they do have an overload here, and they can attack, Garsfontein. The forwards leave it for Brooklyn Newman, and he's going to snap. Oh, beautiful breakthrough there for the scrum half. His body's lying all over that ball. Derek Kuhn has gone in to take scrum off.
No hands, Blue, no hands!
Referee being clear there as they decide to attack the blind side.
No! No hands!
Brooklyn Newman gives it out to his forwards, and this is strong play and even better defense there by Paarl Boys. They've stolen, but just didn't release the ball there. Good call by the referee, but solid defense by Paarl Boys.
Once again, they're in that red zone. Paarl Boys is under pressure again. Garsfontein is starting to play some good rugby here. Nice and direct, taking it up through the middle, not scared to use the grubber to put pressure on the Paarl Boys team as well.
Yeah, Ethan van Beek with a sneaky little tap move, and it's resulted in a try. Oh, that was really clever. The forwards playing a bit of poker there, you know, just a bit of disguise. And it looks like Luan van der Berg has scored his second try here, and he's joined there by his fellow prop, Ethan van Beek. But look at this little snap pop away by Ethan van Beek. There's the slip away. Good strong play there by Luan van Berg.
Yeah, very good move there by Garsfontein. I have to say, I think Paarl Boys was caught napping there. They would not really, but I mean, he tapped it. He basically swiveled to his left, but the other way around. And yeah, you know, props don't get enough credit for their game intelligence. And I tell you what, there was a lot of that there.
Yeah, that's innovation by the two props, and well, they should celebrate because they've done their job as in terms of scrumming. They've gained a lot of penalties, and now have both been able to just add to the try scoring, which gives Ethan Kun an opportunity to add the extra 2 points here. Oh, just fading to the left-hand side there.
There's some big shots fired here by Garsfontein right now, and Paarl Boys needs to dodge a few bullets, and they need to shoot a few of their own. Otherwise, it's become a long night of them. They need to take control. They need to play the Paarl Boys way, which is a structured way, and they're not being allowed to do that.
Yeah, Derek Kun there. Picture, and again, mistimed tackle. Result in almost a relieving of pressure, because this is a penalty now. They do not have to work to get an exit, and if they do execute it correctly, they will get the line out back. And the way their line out has been operating, Fontaine, that could be a good outcome. And smart play here. They've got the left footer of Brooklyn Newman that's going to kick it into touch. It's a favored side, but it might not be into touch. Yeah, that's not in touch. Now Van der Merwe, who's hardly had any ball, sets it up, allowing Smith to just play his forwards. Good defense, but good carrying there by the forwards. Keegan Smith to mentor. He's found a lot of space, and that's a good kick. Really great tactical kick there by the fly-off. And that's exactly what they need. You mentioned that they needed to just almost simplify things, and you can start that by a great kick of that nature.
Absolutely, Kennedy. They're now in a position to get their maul going. Obviously, the line-out throw needs to be accurate and secure, and then they can play from there. But there's been too much from a Paarl Boys' eye point of view. Too much rugby's been played in the red zone in front of their try line.
Justin Bloom, who's featured heavily in this match.
Use it,
that's
clean.
Better defense there by Paarl Boys. As Brooklyn Newman kicks a long, deep kick. That could be a knock-on. Referee says it went back, and Mentos cut straight through here. They've got a huge overlap, and Paarl Boys are underway.
Again backwards.
Again backwards. Referee says that came through the tackle. An advantage being played here by the referee.
No. Vonage.
Ooh, an exciting play. Two opportunities, and while you're busy complaining about the knock-ons, Paarl Boys, through their fly-off mentor, are attacking you. You've got to stay on the pulse of the game. And there are more impact players. They're slowly but surely starting to come on for both sides. It's important. It's a tough two-day tournament. This is that you've got to keep fresh legs on the park.
Yeah, A little bit over-eager by Paarl Boys at the end. You know, just keep their composure. But Garsfontein will know the deeper this game goes, the more of these mistakes will creep into it.
We're approaching the 55th minute mark of this final game of Day 3 between Paarl Boys and Kas Fontaine High School. There's pressure again and advantage. Those two props from Kas Fontaine have done the job here. Not only are they scoring tries, but Van Wyk and Van Berg are doing the business. They're just giving each other the high fives, and well, they should, because they've given Derek Koen an opportunity to just nudge them further down the field. This is good scrumming by Kas Fontaine. It's giving them big rewards.
Yeah, it's a massive part of this game tonight.
And if that was not too much, Aiden Holzhausen, the reserve, who's about to come on, formerly a student of Menlo, switched and moved to Kas Fontaine as Ethan Van Wyk carrying the ball in one arm, and I thought he was about to give the chicken wing offload to add to boot as Aiden Holzhausen comes on for Ethan Van Wyk, who's had a great outing. He's been extremely influential through the scrums and even that little offload that's created Vanderberg's second try. Yeah, good game from him.
Interesting, some fresh blood in the front rows. Let's see if it changes, because the Boys scrum is under serious pressure here. This could actually ultimate cost in the game tonight if they don't settle now and secure their ball so that their fast backs can play some rugby.
Yeah, let's see how that switch from Holzhausen coming on for Kas Fontaine is going to change their scrumming fortunes. But if you are a betting man, you would just be concerned about the back cover for Kas Fontaine. They've got a huge gap in the far left-hand side of their defense, and that's a lot of kick space that they've opened up for Paarl Boys. Obviously, depending on what mindset that the Paarl Boys team is in right now, perhaps they'll look to carry and not opt for that kicking because they're feeling the scoreboard pressure. Of course, they are trailing by 4 points, with Kas Fontaine scoring 28 points to 24. As Smith puts in the ball, and that's again huge pressure. Holzhausen hasn't let them down, and that's just more pressure at that scrum. What a scrum.
Turning out of the contest.
Masterclass this has become.
Kennedy, I have to say that I'm confused, because the way I understand it, if the scrum goes back by 1.5 meters, he's got to blow it. That went 3-4 meters before he blew it. So I'm sorry to criticize the referee. It's not in my nature to. They have a job to do, but I don't understand it. But the Kas Fontaine scrum is very, very dominant, a little bit like the Affies Paul Roos game the other night. Look at that. That's moved.
Yeah,
that's moved a lot. That moved a long way. And that first part of the scrum, Boza went straight back. Then it starts to move to the side. Then he penalizes them. So, you know, as I said, I have to question that. Not saying that he's wrong. He's seeing it differently. He's on the ground, but this is an important kick. They're going to go ahead by more than one score here.
Yeah, it's always a questionable area there to the scrum, but it's given Derek Koen an opportunity just to extend this lead. He struck the ball extremely well. This is right in front of the poles, and that he has slotted in. Good kick here by Derek Koen, and the signs are starting to glittle a little bit for Kas Fontaine here.
Are you getting the same sense?
I'm starting to get that, exactly. I'm starting to get that northern feeling a bit, but never right off Paarl Boys' side. It's obviously coached by Sean Erasmus, and they kick right in the middle there from Mentor. Just getting Kas Fontaine to set it up in the 22. Newman uses that educated left boot. And now Paarl Boys have got opportunity to counter. There's a sneaky little offload as they carry it through their backs. That's a strong tackle there. As the ball's just popped out of nowhere, you just feel that Paarl Boys is almost going backwards here.
No!
They need to just change
Advantage
their
slowing
attack.
it down.
Advantage slowing down the ball.
Too long.
Referee being very clear in terms of his communication. And that's just something that Kas Fontaine, if they want to keep in the lead, they're going to have to keep their discipline about them, because what happens is you get into the lead and you start feeling that you've got to put extra pressure, and that's when your discipline sort of comes against you, and next thing you find yourself trailing once again.
But on the other side, Paarl Boys is looking at the scoreboard. They're now 7 points behind, and they're starting what I've heard the other day. That is gone out, it hits the corner flag, and in the end it's a fantastic kick which sets Paarl Boys up. But I was going to say is that Paarl Boys must calm down, because I've heard Schalkberger talk about what he calls hot potato rugby. Everybody just tries to get rid, throw the chicken wing, throw the Hail Mary passes. Paarl Boys is a team. Sean Erasmus coached them like, slow it down, get into your structure, and at the moment they're doing a little bit too much. Good line out though, Kennedy.
Yeah, that's a good take and a well set. And this looks like they're underway. The big train is moving, but it's gone down by themselves, so the referee is not playing advantage. The pick and go effect is going to come into play. They have knocked the ball on, and Brooklyn Newman now has got a chance to hack that ball down. This is huge transition. And you just spoke about it, that there isn't really accuracy in the Paarl Boys play, and there is evidence of it once again.
If they show it again.
Number 4, blue,
at
sub.
the line, when you calm, when you're relaxed, I can't reach it, set it up again, set it up for my mate, he'll score. Paarl Boys are at the moment, I think they're moving into a difficult phase where time is running out. They probably should have scored there, they didn't. I think they're under pressure, and right now Kas Fontaine could be the favourites to take this game. But early to call that?
Yeah, but too early because...
But I'm calling it.
You could call it Paarl Boys. And maybe you've just put the mockers on them there. Another skew line out for Paarl Boys. And you just feel as we approach
Option scrum or line
almost 8 minutes left in this game, that the momentum has sort of been favouring Kas Fontaine. And the exit plays have been pretty good with them, just interchanging between Brooklyn Newman's left foot and Derek Kuhn's well-educated right boot. They've sort of got a good balance between their kicking game.
Ouch!
And that's going to be very important, because they need to get out of that area if they are to keep this lead. Already they need to score twice, do Paarl Boys. So it's a matter of playing in the right area that would help Kas Fontaine.
Gaan jy genoeg tyd gee, ek kan niks sê nie. Gaan jy genoeg tyd gee, kry jouself gemaklik. Sy bal.
Let's see if Paarl Boys can attack the Kas Fontaine scrum. They've been attacked and they've gone backwards the whole evening. Not many Kas Fontaine put-ins. Let's see how Paarl Boys approaches this. See if they can shift him back as well.
Yeah, Aiden Holsthausen, Justin Bloom and Johan Vandenberg in that front row. And there's a bit of a collapse there. AR was going to get involved, and yes, he did communicate with Meneer Bosman.
Tighthead losing his bind.
Yeah, Tighthead did lose his bind. You could see that in the pictures. And because the scrum has become such a heavy focus, even we are starting to look at the little intricacies and the micro detail. And there you could just see the Tighthead losing his bind.
Right, time as time ticks away. Paarl Boys had a good period in the last 3 or 4 minutes. Have got nothing to show for it. Kas Fontaine walks to the line out.
Yeah, Justin Bloom with a good throw in. Newman finds his spot, and they set up in the midfield. Oh, great offload. Luan Olivier now. Could he seal this game? Oh, the captain, that's a great captain's run. Just diving on a player. The referee had to have a good look at that. Brooklyn Newman is going to want to play the ball out wide here. Paarl Boys are under huge pressure. Newman. Kuhn distributes out. Interland is in. A superb try that could just lock up this game. And this is brilliant play, and that coach Well, he should be happy. That was stunning play there by Kas Fontaine. All the momentum that they've had, they've been able to capitalize, and Ruan Insulan, who was their top try scorer for last year, was able to get into the corner. And an excellent, excellent try. That was a team try, if ever there was one.
Yeah, they're getting close here and they do something different here. They take it out wide immediately. Paarl Boys wasn't ready for that. Shift through the hands, and the right wing goes over in the corner for I would call a very, very good try. And right now, Kas Fontaine is really good. It's got the noses ahead. Paarl Boys, I'm looking at them under the poles there. Body language not very good at the moment. They're championships. They're a champion side. So I wouldn't put it past them to come back and score 2 tries, but at the moment, it's not likely.
Yeah, it looks like the call you just made about a couple of minutes ago could be playing out to fruition here. As Derekun could put this vital 2 points over. That makes it even more difficult for Paarl Boys. He didn't strike it quite well there. And the lead is 36 points to 24 here for Kas Fontaine.
They have to score. Sorry, Kenny. They have to score very quickly here. But for Kas Fontaine, strong exit for them is paramount.
Well caught there. There was a bit of obstruction there. And Neil Bosman did well to pick it up. Unnecessary. And you almost just feel that Paarl Boys needs to play quick. And they have. Quick tap there. Set up into the midfield. Keegan Smith. And the inside pass to Jacobs, it looked like. Smith there plays his forwards, and that's a breakthrough, and that's an early quick try. And never write them off. Did say that earlier, and that's a good try there by Peters, who's come on through a substitution. And it could be game on here. These extra 2 points that Mentor is going to slip over. Time is ticking away. They still have a lot of time, about 3.5 minutes to go. That's a long time in a game of rugby that has been swinging back and forth of this nature.
So I'll go back. Poor exit. Really bad mistake. And then Paarl Boys, I think you said the name was Peters. He took the direct route. And I think Kas Fontaine, just for a second there, took their foot off the pedal, probably thinking, we got the game in the bag. Now I suppose 2 minutes to go, it's game on. Once again, Boys exit, kick chase.
Yeah, with about just under 3 minutes left, I've got no option to take the ball here. Do Kas Fontaine. Newman is going to look for that kick, and that is a real soft kick, but this gives an opportunity for Paarl Boys perhaps to run the ball back.
Off your feet.
Yeah, referee again warned Kas Fontaine. We spoke about the discipline, as could perhaps play a big factor, as a quick tap here has been taken by Paarl Boys.
I think that's really silly play there. They get a penalty. They need to kick it downfield, set up the maul and play from there. Now they keep on tap. I mean, this is, well, the previous time it worked, they scored a try. But the sensible one is for Newman. He's got a really educated boot. Is to boot it downfield, set up the maul and take it from there.
Yeah, calm heads have to prevail. There was Shawnee Rasmus, their coach, but here's another critical error, as that Derek Kuhn is perhaps going to not really punish them for not perhaps finding touch. This is perhaps a better outcome for Paarl Boys, because that's given them where they would have had the original lineout.
He probably should have just kicked it out there, maybe 3 yards further. So I think Paarl Boys, I can count their lucky stars that they actually got away with Mentor's mistake there.
Just 1.5 minutes left on the time clock, and an attacking opportunity for Paarl Boys, and they're slicing straight through here. That's Adrian Jacobs.
On your feet
He's
now.
tackled backwards, and there's an overlap here for Paarl Boys. Oh, knock on and a forced pass.
Early tackle.
And an early tackle, the referee. This could change this whole game. Calm heads have to prevail. And they're saying play to the corner, and that's perhaps the right way. Their driving maul has been extremely effective. Mentor kicks it straight into the corner. Great kick.
You've coached a lot in your life. You sit here, it's clear. You've got a good maul. So
Okay.
somebody wants to
Kas Fontaine op
tap
die
and
lyn
run. So with a
right.
minute to go, that's the obvious option. And now, Kas Fontaine is really under the pump here. Can Paarl Boys secure this line out and set up the maul?
This is the nail-biting finish, and advantage is being played here by the referee.
Man played in the air.
Yeah, they've got a second opportunity here, bite at it.
Step,
They
step,
can
Paarl, step.
throw it all, can Paarl Boys, and that they're going to do it.
Roll!
Strong play. Oh, they've gone through. Just short of the line here. Referee still playing advantage. Final hoot has gone already. There's the try. Paarl Boys have done it. They have scored a try right at the death. Can you believe it? Kas Fontaine all but on their knees. We still need to get the number of that try scorer, but we spoke about it. Calm heads had to prevail, and Paarl Boys have done it right at the death. Still a conversion to come over, but the key score, of course, just to lever it up, 36 points all. We all locked up here, and the pressure falls on the fly-off, who's been extremely good today. Mentor to put the extra 2 points to win this game right at the death for Paarl Boys. A lot of pressure. And he sort of pulled it right back here so that he's not under pressure. And he's kicked it over. Mentor wins it for Paarl Boys. 38 points to 36. In a game that everyone thought that Paarl Boys were all but dead, they were able to sneak it right at the death. Excellent game by these two sides, and a perfect ending to day 3 of this North and South tournament, sponsored by Enmanai Toyota. Neil, you've got to give me your final wrap here. You had called that Kas Fontaine could have possibly got over, but weren't able to get it over the line. And Paarl Boys just able to come back and sneak it at the end.
Yeah, as we hear that Vian Mentor has been named as the man of the match, and I think well deserved. He made that mistake when not kicking out. But I think when Derek Keane didn't kick it back far enough, he actually gave Boys another chance, and there were 2 mistakes right at the end, just before either try. As we see them running through one of the first tries by Junaid Stewart, they're coming through. But as I said, yeah, the rolling ball that proved to be so effective by Kas Fontaine. But Kennedy, I think they thought they had it sewn up after that last try they scored, and I really think they just took there was 2.5 minutes left. They took their foot off the pedal, and they paid dearly for it.
Yeah, that was Mentor scoring a really beautiful slicing through try, and that got this back and forth try scoring from both these sides as he converted his own try there. The man of the match, that was Vivian Mentor. And here was another try scored here by Justin Bloom. And at this stage, we started thinking that Kas Fontaine was going to have their day as we make our way to, there he is, the man of the match, Vian Mentor, who was instrumental and kicked that vital 2-pointer to win this game, and well deserved as we wrap up this game. And there